You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you in part by HauntedSiouxFalls.com. Ooh. Hey, Heidi was on the ball today.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah.
I should have just recorded that for the rest of the month.
You know, I also love it when Heidi does the hay thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't appropriate for something scary, but it's nice to have that in the back burner. A little something in her quiver there. James Cash Penny was born this day. What a great name.
Yeah.
That is kind of a
J.C.
cool name.
Penny.
Yeah, especially for starting, what would become at one point one of the biggest retailers in the country.
Yeah.
J.C. Penny. Comedic actress Amy Poehler.
Oh, yeah.
Loved her in Parks and Rec. She's 50 today.
Nice.
She is 50. And one of my all-time favorite music artists, B.B. King.
Oh, yeah.
Born this day. Originally saw B.B. King August 6, 1972, Minneapolis Auditorium.
Oh, he even knows the
Knows the
year.
And Sioux City, August 31st, 1997. That was an awesome show. It was an all-day blues festival.
Oh, nice.
B.B. King was the headliner. Played last. It was a beautiful day out there at Explorer Stadium.
Yeah.
You know they have a liquor license there?
Oh, yeah. Of
I
course.
would
What's it?
assume.
Sioux City. They got to have a liquor license.
I'd never seen anything like it. It's a minor league ball club. Nice stadium, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're out there, and I was with my brother Dan Christofferson and the ladies. And
Yeah.
and he goes, hey, why don't we go, grab some beers or something? And we go to concessions. It's like, they're making margaritas.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
They roll, Dan.
So I've got to see B.B. King twice.
Nice.
Live. So there you go. Makes me kind of a big deal.
I did an interview with his neighbor's brother.
There, I believe that.
These guys make fun of me for that stuff.
It was this day in 1908. Carriage maker, William C. Durant founds General Motors in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Well, that for somebody who goes, you know what? I think there's a
Right
change
on the
coming.
Yeah.
Let's do that. It was 1972.
Engine in this thing.
1972, this day, first TV series. This is pretty amusing. Think about this. First TV series about mixed marriage premieres. It was called Bridget Loves Bernie with Meredith Baxter. Bernie went on to star in Family Ties.
Yeah.
And David Bernie.
Okay.
Now, this was literally billed as mixed marriage. Here's the thing. She was a Catholic from a wealthy family.
Okay.
He was a Jewish cab driver. I'm not making this up.
That was the mixed
That
marriage.
was considered mixed. But
Cutting
when I
edge
think
back
back
then.
on it, I used to hear stories. It used to crack me up. My mom would go, yeah, your grandma, great-grandma, did not want me to marry your father. I'm going, well, what? Based on what? First, he was Polish. Second, he was Catholic. My mother was a Swedish Lutheran. And apparently back in the day, that was a thing.
It was, yeah.
I suppose.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
I guess my great-grandma just despised my dad.
Oh, that's too bad.
Just because of that, which was something. Grew to love him, though, and gosh, who didn't? 1984, speaking of TV, Sonny Crockett gets together with Ricardo Tubbs. Lights it up. Miami Vice premieres on NBC.
Pastel suits.
That was a
Cutting edge.
huge deal.
That was a big deal.
It really
That
was.
a big deal.
I have a photo of my brother and I from back in the day. We were both kind of dressed like that in our photo. The two of us
Did you guys both have stubble?
had the little blazers and
Here's my little story on that. I've never been a big TV guy, so
Yeah.
I was aware of this TV series, but I never sat down and actually watched it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd taken one of my first radio jobs in northwest Wisconsin. Okay, I walk into a bar restaurant one afternoon, and I'm wearing jeans, pair of slip-ons, no socks, and it's just kind of how I looked. Sport coat over a T-shirt, hadn't shaved, whatever. Just and the guy behind the bar goes, "Oh, you must be a big Miami Vice fan. Big fan, Miami." I'm going, "What? What? You dress like Sonny." I'm going, I have no idea what we're even talking about. Literally.
You were doing it before it was cool.
Yeah, and so later that week I actually tuned it in and went, huh. So I guess that's the style. Well, good for me.
You just happened to step into it.
But it was just yeah, so terrific,
You're asking,
fantastic.
you a big fan of lumberjacks? I see you're wearing a lot of flannel.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Hey, I know, you know, we all know, and we just bounce ahead.
We're going to do that. It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you by HauntedSiouxFalls.com.
Ooh.
In the past year, did you find yourself drinking more often? The stress of the last year had that effect on many people. If you're struggling to get back to normal and get the booze out of your daily routine, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to help you find the best option for you. There are many different programs. TimeForRehab.com will do our best to match you up with the program that will work best for your needs. Learn more at TimeForRehab.com. We want to help. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
And now stuff Dan finds interesting. Yeah.
It is time for Stuff Dan Finds Interesting. And Dan, what do you find interesting on this fine Thursday?
This is ripped right from my friends at NPR.
Ooh, wow, you don't steal from them very often.
I don't. National Public Radio.
Are you
And it's
gonna
not
do it in a
stealing.
voice?
Not
Dan?
stealing. My
borrowing.
my
He's
tax
using.
dollars go into
That's
that
right.
that
I
organization.
had a tote with their name on it once.
Here's the thing, we did a couple of stories in the past couple months about alcohol consumption spiked across the country in the past year and a half, but never really got into who's buying all this stuff. You would think it would be the younger folks. It was not.
No, it's the
Not even
grown-ups that were
close.
super stressed.
In fact, alcohol consumption amongst college students is really lower than it was just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So what's the story? What the heck's going on here?
Who's boozing it up, Dan?
Seems like all that beer, brandy, and wine was being sucked up by mom and dad and grandpa.
Yeah.
But on the same token, the younger folks were smoking a lot more dope.
Yeah, that.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, because what is it up to? 20? Is it? Oh, I want to say, is it 27 states now have legalized marijuana?
Yeah, it's quite a
Maybe
few.
a little high.
Yeah.
A little high because it gets dicey. Well, this one has medical marijuana, but this one
Right.
doesn't have recreational marijuana. It's
Well,
like South Dakota. Now, medical marijuana is going to be a thing, but recreational marijuana is still coming out of the gate. So.
Well, and they don't make it real hard to get the medical marijuana card in a lot of states. It's like I got a cough, and they're like, okay, here you go.
In fact, new national report sponsored by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found that a substantial and significant drop in current alcohol use among college students over the past couple years. However, for college kids in the U.S., annual marijuana use has continued to increase over the past 5 years. 44% of them reporting marijuana use in the past year. And these are just the ones going, yeah, I use it. I mean, who knows, on a survey,
Yeah.
people can get tricky with those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Marijuana use was highest in the Northeast. 47% of respondents ages 19 to 30 reported toking it up. Close second, Western U.S. at 46%. The Midwest, that's us, at just a scant 42% of college kids are bonging it up. So, I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's still, what's your drug of choice, man? What are you doing really? What are you doing really? Or the biggest question is, why are you doing it, period?
Yeah.
Right.
So, from the good folks at NPR.
Thank you for that report,
I
Dan.
appreciate
Appreciate it as well.
that very much. And keep in mind when you're tuned into NPR, there's a good chance who's ever on NPR has been toking it up too.
This is Stuff Dan Finds Interesting on NPR Sunny Radio. I'm John with a fun comparison. Some puppies are purebred and they cost more. Others are more affordable. And then there are free puppies. Nobody really knows where they come from, but they're free. In the advertising world, it's like that too. There are some super expensive ways to advertise if you can afford it. And there are some free things you've probably tried, but those dogs rarely work. Radio is kind of like that middle puppy. Affordable, will snuggle with you, and hopefully not pee on the rug. Radio advertising. Super affordable, a great investment, and man's best friend. Try it and let BetterResultsAdvertising.com bring your message to life. Time now for your morning coffee break, brought to you by Kaladi's Bistro on the corner of 26th and Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Mr. Dan Farris back in the air chair right now with something real important over there.
He said
I do
air
it about once a month
chair.
just to keep you going.
Oh, man.
air chair with Dan
Unbelievable.
Farris.
Ladies and gentlemen, it'll shiver your liver, spatter your bladder, and freeze your knees. Bring him out here.
Wow.
Yeah, old-time disc jockey talk. That's fantastic. What's going on? Well, if you were down on the 8th Street Bridge the other day and not fishing or throwing empties over it into the river, you may have run into Mayor Paul Tenhanken.
Oh.
What was he doing? John, you know what he was doing. You're like his best friend. You guys are on the phone all night long.
No, we were hanging out at German Fest. So there's a photo of he and I on stage somewhere together because somebody said, "Is that you or do you have a doppelganger?" Because Dan said, she doesn't know how to spell doppelganger.
I know I don't. I've never been real clear on what it even is. It's one of those things. It's like
twin.
It sounds dirty, but it's not.
It kind of does sound, now that you say it.
Doctor, can you take a look at this? Ah!
Yeah. What happened to your doppelganger? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's chapped. I'm going to write your prescription for ointment. Get over to Walgreens, clear that up. Mayor Paul, who we are big fans of.
He's a nice dude.
Mainly because he's filthy rich. Let's be honest here.
Is that why you like
That's
him?
why he
I just think he seems really cool.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
Doesn't he seem cool?
We went to high school together in Worthing.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in marching band.
He does
together.
not remember that, by the way. I asked him about it.
Oh, he remembers. He's thrown his hat in the ring. He will be running for a second term for mayor of Sioux Falls, which is coming up next year.
Yes.
Already, which is nice. Now, the other part of that is there's going to be 4 seats
City council?
for city council, too.
Well, for each of us. The 3 of us could each run.
This is good. I would love, Heidi, for you to run for mayor against Paul Tenhage. Hey, I've got campaign chops, seriously.
I'm going to be too busy running against Dusty Johnson.
Oh, that's right. She's thrown down the gauntlet of challenge.
She's
going
running
big
against
first
everybody.
time.
I think she emailed him.
I did email
We should
him.
do. We should
We
just.
had words.
You should put your name on the ballot for everything, and then we make one sign.
And then I unfriended
Heidi
him on
Small.
Facebook.
Heidi Small for, and then all of the different offices you're running on one sign. Mayor, city
Whichever one I
council,
win.
Senate.
So
Congress.
it should be interesting because I still have questions because that's what I do. I question everything.
Okay.
I watch
you
stuff.
should.
Well, I love watching where does the money go?
Yeah.
Where does the money go? Because we all spend money if you're a property owner or a business owner or just doing commerce in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And keep in mind, I mean, the city's in pretty darn good shape. And we generally have a ton of money sitting there on a budget for whatever may come our way, which is nice too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I still look at stuff. It's like, okay, it wasn't that long ago where there was a ton of hubbubbery about this just ugly as sin parking ramp downtown.
Right.
Price tag of about 23 mil.
Still sitting there,
It was
just
supposed to be
empty.
handled by developers that fell through, and now it's on
Yeah.
the taxpayers' problem. And that just kind of went away. So I'm still wondering, well, what's up with that? Where's the money go?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, things of that nature. Then it was Mayor Huther wrote a $10 million check to buy the rail yards downtown on the
Right.
taxpayer dime. That's at Vega deals fell through and through and through. And now it's my understanding that a developer in town, I believe it's Lloyd Properties, taking that over, but they're getting like a $22 million tax break on that thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And see, this is why I don't get invited to stuff in this town.
Oh.
Because I do.
It's overrated
I still
anyway.
have these questions. It's like, what's going on? What are we doing
Ask
really?
a lot of questions.
Yeah, the Washington Pavilion, which is still taxpayer subsidized, I think to the tune of about $1.2 million a year, needs a $7 to $9 million roof job. Okay, what are we doing with that? Who's paying for that?
Yeah.
So again, Heidi Jean Small, mayor. As soon as she's done beating up Dusty,
I'm going after Dusty.
Oh, wow.
we'll see what
Setting my sights high.
you're going to suck another Red Bull and come out swinging.
I would love to see her run for anything. It'd be hilarious.
I think what's going to be most interesting is now that Mayor Tenhaken is in, yeah, man, let's roll. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
Who's going to run against him? Who's going to step up? That's always the fascinating part to me.
I've seen some people talking about it, but I don't know if they're any more serious than we are right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody legit
Who says
so
I'm
far.
not serious? I've started an exploratory committee. I've got staff lined up.
That was just her at the bar with some friends the other day. That's not an exploratory committee.
But it was unanimous that
Look, this
I would
country
win.
was launched on bar napkins,
It
John.
was. That's true. If you look closely on the bottom of the Declaration of Independence, there's actually a logo for a tavern.
That's what it is. Yeah, PBR.
It's written on a big napkin. All right, Dan, thanks for that, sir.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely the least I could do, John.
Oh, you did well. We've got some news with Dan Farris coming your way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you by HauntedSiouxFalls.com.
Ooh. Ooh.
Many new students sign up for credit cards that are not very good. Have a conversation about how to properly use credit so they don't learn this lesson the hard way. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Want one that offers points? We have those. Want a card to help you build credit? We have those too. Bettercreditcards.com is designed to help you get a better credit card. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a bright spot of news brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. They can brighten any room with a beautiful light fixture. We're going to brighten your day right now with something positive. I'm excited to visit with Mr. Wayne Nelson from a band called the Little River Band. And I'm excited, Wayne. We're going to be seeing you guys here at a thing called The Sands. Used to be called 80s in the Sand in Punta Cana. We're going to see you there in about a month. But first of all, welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm doing great, John. Good to talk with you.
Well, we're excited to visit with you. And like I said, we're going to see you in October at the Sands. But there's another opportunity for people to see the Little River Band. You're going to be performing on the 70s Romance Cruise. That is February of next year. And there's still room if people would like to get on board, isn't there?
It sure is. And us and everybody from... we got Chicago there, 10cc, all the way to War. You can't, I'll tell you what, you can't believe how many hit songs you're going to hear just wall to wall. People are going to be running from one end of the boat to the other to make sure they get to see all their stuff. My first headliner ever was Jim Messina, and he's going to be on the cruise too. So the music it's going to run from late 60s all the way through the 90s. It's a great time, and we're all on the same ship. We're going to be eating breakfast together. We're going to be doing Q&As with people, and it's just a really good hang for music lovers to get immersed in with all those bands. It's good fun.
They're calling it the feel-good cruise of a lifetime, and I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. There's not a ton of space left, but just a little bit of room, so if people are interested, they better not mess around. Hurry up.
That's exactly right. And I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's rockandromancecruise.com or something to that effect. If you just Google it, you're going to find it. So
that's exactly what I have for a website as well, rockandromancecruise.com. Now, have you guys done cruises like this in the past, Wayne?
No. We did a couple of cruises with the Moody Blues, and this is our third rock and romance journey. They're always fun, and I still get emails from people say, I remember standing in the line next to your wife when she was waiting to go backstage. It's stuff like that. It's, good friendships evolve from it, and it is a feel-good time because it's just so laid back. It's the cruise mentality, only there's a concert thrown in. So everybody's of that laid-back energy, and you're watching a band, and you got another band standing behind you that's going to see their favorite band and hanging out and air playing all of the parts and stuff. It's good fun. It's just a great week.
And for anybody that's not had a chance to experience this, let me encourage you to get out and check out something like this, whether it's the cruise or like we do, the Sands, where it's not on a boat. It's just a cool thing, though, because you're fully immersed. All the bands kind of hanging out with you for the whole darn week as well. Now, you'd mentioned being in line. Somebody had talked about being with your wife. We had her on this program. That was right when she put out her book.
Yes. It's called A Different Life.
Well, she was absolutely wonderful to visit with, and it was really, really nice to visit with your wife. Very nice lady.
She is a very talented lady, and it was her first effort at writing a book, and I was blown away by how professional it is. And she designed a beautiful book, cover and design and artwork and so on. So much work goes into putting something like that together with a compilation of memories and whatever, pictures and stuff. And this was a few years ago that you would have talked to her, but this book is still as relevant as ever because it captures the history of when we met and everything leading up to, the last few years of the band's history. So it's still a good grab, and you can contact us through social media. Her name's Rhonda Nelson. You can Google the book and see samples of it. It's a cool product. I'm happy to promote it anytime I can.
I appreciate your time today. And once again, rockandromancecruise.com is the website. I'll throw a link to it on our Facebook page as well. Wayne, thank you again for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
John, it's a pleasure always. And I guess we'll see you in Mexico in October. Probably we'll see you on the cruise in February next year.
Super excited for October. Again, the Sands, if you'd like to get information on that, 80sinthesand.com, or you can go to thesands.rocks. There's a bunch of different websites. Or you can go to the one that I know for sure, radiotravelgroup.com. I know that'll take you right there. A lot of fun stuff. Super excited to visit once again with our guest today, Mr. Wayne Nelson from the Little River Band.
Merry Christmas! Oh, you're not ready for that yet. How about Happy Halloween? At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all of the fun holidays throughout the year with funny, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we have a gift idea for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out. Just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Time now for the newsiest news we do. It's News with Dan Farris.
Oh, what is going on? Holy moly, Rocky. The whole planet's falling apart. Get up in the morning, turn on the news, turn it back off, can't handle it. But hey, what's going on? You know, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and people don't think about this a lot. That Hurricane Ida was really nasty.
Yeah, it really was.
Really nasty, and there's still ramifications. Lots of things still going on with that. But now it's taking a backseat. Apparently, there's a tropical storm, a hurricane named Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Cruising through. It's headed for Texas, and it's going to ride up the coast again, man. It's just that's how it's been. But getting back to Ida, this is a little side note here. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the LDWF, said earlier this week in a release that birds, lots of birds, are now being observed with heavy pockets of crude oil on them in and around the Alliance refinery, where that spill occurred during that major storm. So here's the deal. The bird species affected include, these are some of my favorites too, the black-bellied whistling duck, blue-winged teal, which are beautiful, and a variety of egret species. Yeah. Wildlife officials have also found alligators, river otters, some other wildlife covered with that kind of thing. Now, you've seen the commercials, and this is exactly why I do it, and you can mock me if you like, but for the past 20 years, in fact, I can walk out to my car and show you, it's right in the glove box, I travel with a bottle of Dawn detergent.
Why do you travel with it?
In case I come across an oily duck.
Oh, nice.
Right?
That's a good idea.
Oily duck.
I should probably do that too.
And to take it a step further, in my console, I have a can of 3-in-1 oil should I come across a rusty duck.
I never know what to believe with this guy.
Just wanted to mention it's
appreciate that
business. Moving on to sports. Brought to you by Bert and the Crew at Hockey Headquarters.
Nice dude.
We love them. How bad is the NFC North right now? It's terrible.
Okay.
NFC North. You know the teams, Charlie, whatever, he's a Bears fan, right?
Bears
That's
fan,
NFC North. Lions, NFC North. Green Bay Packers, NFC North. Minnesota Vikings, NFC North. You know how many of those teams won their first games?
Only one.
None.
None?
None.
Oh, I thought I read
They're
that
all
one.
terrible. They were terrible. They were awful.
Sounds like they weren't very good.
Worst division. They're terrible.
Is it any good, though? That's my
They're
question.
terrible. But listen to this, Vikes fans. Minnesota Vikings are in first place,
Okay.
even though they lost.
So
How is that?
The NFC North, Minnesota Vikings are in first place
Okay.
that may be what I read on the internet.
because they were not in a conference game. So if the season were to end right now, the Minnesota Vikings would be the champions of their division.
That's cool.
So there you go.
Congratulations.
So,
That's a good thing.
enjoy that ride, Vikings fans.
But they didn't lose, right?
They did lose.
How did they lose? I thought you said they didn't have a game.
Is he paying attention?
Not really, no.
We don't. Neither one of us get sports.
Every team in the NFC North lost on Sunday.
Okay.
All of them, including the Vikings.
Okay. See,
Vikings lost to the Bengals.
All right.
They're in Cincinnati, which is in Ohio.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm new at sports.
So you can relax, Vikings fans. Vikings are in first place. However, they do play the Arizona Cardinals this weekend, and I am an expert. I'm taking the Cardinals by at least 9 touchdowns.
That's fantastic.
From the Sunny 93.3 News Desk, I'm Dan Farris reminding you, if it's news to me. Good night, everybody.
In the past year, did you find yourself drinking more often? The stress of the last year had that effect on many people. If you're struggling to get back to normal and get the booze out of your daily routine, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to help you find the best option for you. There are many different programs. TimeForRehab.com will do our best to match you up with the program that will work best for your needs. Learn more at TimeForRehab.com. We want to help. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, September 16th, 2021. Equity markets rebounded Wednesday, gaining roughly 0.75% at the highs of the session. The move puts an end to a 7-session streak of losses that have shaved nearly 2.5% from the S&P 500. If the market can maintain its footing at this level, the upward trend will remain intact. If not, the market could be in for another 1% to 9% correction before the end of the month. Wednesday trading was supported by better than expected data from the manufacturing sector. The New York Empire State Manufacturing Index rose unexpectedly and doubled the expectations on an increase in new orders, backlogs, and deliveries. The news bodes well for economic activity in the third quarter, but is only one of dozens of reports for the market to digest, like the August read on retail sales. Retail sales are expected to decline from the previous year. The question is, by how much? You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.